What if I told you, the people who act like they don't care at all are often the ones who feel the deepest, the ones who stay quiet, who don't react, who seem unbothered no matter what happens, are usually carrying emotions they don't know how to express. You've seen them. Maybe you are one of them. They don't text first. They don't chase attention. They act like everything is fine, even when it's not. On the outside, they look calm, controlled, almost untouchable. But on the inside, it's different. Their mind replays conversations over and over again. They notice the smallest changes in how people treat them. They feel things deeply, but choose silence instead. Because at some point in their life, they learn something painful. That showing too much emotion can cost you everything. So they adapted. They built a version of themselves that looks strong, but hides everything. Not because they don't care, but because they care so much, it scares them. This behavior doesn't just happen randomly. It usually begins with an experience, one that changes how they see emotions forever. They trusted someone. They opened up. They gave their time, their energy, their feelings. And in return, they got hurt. Maybe they were ignored when they needed attention the most. Maybe their feelings were dismissed like they didn't matter. Or maybe they gave everything and still weren't enough. That kind of pain doesn't just disappear. It teaches them to be careful. So next time they hold back. They stop expressing everything they feel. They start thinking twice before getting attached. They tell themselves, stay in control. Don't show too much. And slowly, that becomes who they are. Someone who feels everything, but shows almost nothing. They become observers of their own emotions. They analyze instead of express. They withdraw instead of react. Because to them, being open is dangerous. It feels like standing in the same place they once got hurt. And they refuse to go through that again. But if you pay close attention, the truth always shows in small ways. First, they act unbothered, but overthink everything later. They may brush things off in the moment, but at night, their thoughts won't let them rest. Second, they avoid deep conversations. Not because they don't have emotions, but because once they open up, everything comes rushing out. Third, they care quietly. They won't always say how they feel, but they show it in actions. They remember details. They check on you. They stay present. Fourth, they pull away when things get serious. The moment emotions start getting real, they create distance. Not because they've stopped caring, but because it suddenly feels too intense. And finally, they feel everything alone. They cry in silence. They process pain privately. They heal without anyone ever knowing they were broken. If you're still watching, it probably means this feels familiar. And if it does, take a second to like this video, so more people who feel this way can find it too. The truth is, people who pretend they don't care aren't cold. They're protecting themselves. They've built emotional walls so strong that even they sometimes struggle to break them down. But behind those walls is someone who loves deeply, someone who notices everything, someone who just wants to feel safe enough to be real again. And that's what most people misunderstand. They see distance and assume disinterest. They see silence and assume there's nothing there. But in reality, there's too much there. Too many thoughts, too many feelings, too many fears of being hurt again. So they choose to pretend. They pretend not to care, while secretly hoping someone will understand them without forcing them to explain everything. So let me ask you, do you relate to this? Or do you know someone like this? Drop your answer in the comments. I read them all. And if this video spoke to you, subscribe and like for more deep psychology content. Because sometimes, understanding yourself is the beginning of healing.